Guard, come here, guard, come here. Hurry up, walk faster. I'm scared. I'm really scared. I need to get out of here. Something bad's gonna happen to me if I don't. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to AfterPrisonShow, and in this video we're going to be talking about being locked up in a cell with a guy that you do not like. In fact, this is pretty big in the news right now. There's actually been two really big stories that have just broke about situations taking place between cellmates, and in both cases, unfortunately, one of those cellmates was killed. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've been locked up in a cell with a guy that I absolutely cannot stand. In fact, there's been times where I've even had to fight my cellie because of the fact that we just could not get along. And though I'm pretty sure I've only had to fight like two of my cellmates, one of them beating me up, he won for sure, and then the other one, I think it was a pretty fair fight, so who's to say who really won or lost? I know for a fact I didn't lose that fight though, so I'm pretty happy to be able to report that. But in a lot of cases while locked up, you could very easily find yourself in a cell with somebody you just cannot get along with for whatever reason. Maybe it's because of the charges they have. Maybe it's because of the fact that they might be gay. Maybe it's because of their race, whatever. There certainly are a lot of times where guys just don't like who they have to share that cell with. And because of that, a lot of times fights in prison take place between cellmates. Now, when you do find yourself in a situation like that, locked up with a guy that you don't like, maybe it's like in Dave's situation, just like I shared with you guys in a video a few days ago, where Dave called and talked about a cellmate that he just caught stealing from him. In situations like that, you've got two options. One, you're either gonna be fighting, or two, you need to get him or yourself out of that cell. Whether that be by either you or that cellmate banging on the door, "Guard! Help me!" Telling those guards that you are in absolute fear for your life and fear that this guy in here, he's gonna kill me. And to be honest with you, I've actually done that one time myself. I'm not too proud to admit that. But it wasn't because I was in fear of my cellmate or anybody else in the housing unit. Though, however, I did tell the guards that I was in fear for my life. The reason I did do this is because I had been in this cell block for a long time in this jail. At the very beginning of my sentence, there was no money left in the cell block. I couldn't get any more tattoo work. I mean, I had pretty much tattooed the entire damn cell block, so it was time for me to move on. And it wasn't like I could just write a request form saying, yeah, I'm tired of this cell block. There's no more money in here for me to make doing tattoos, so could you put me in another cell block where maybe I could make some more money? No, they definitely weren't gonna go for that, so the only option I had was when the guard was walking by, I had to pull the guard up to the cell. My cellmate already knew I was doing this, by the way. But I pulled the guard up, I said, Guard, come here, guard, come here. Hurry up, walk faster. I'm scared. I'm really scared. I need to get out of here. Something bad's gonna happen to me if I don't. And when I told this to the guard, he didn't take me serious at all because he knew me from all of the times he had been in here. He saw that I was pretty much doing okay in there, not having any problems. So he was just like, yeah, right, Guerrero, you're not moving. But there was a really crazy thing about this guard in particular that I was talking to. And that was that this guard was just coming back to work. He had only been back for a few weeks at this point because there was something that happened to him in another cell block where a prisoner actually took a razor blade and cut this guard right across his neck. I mean, this other prisoner tried to do this guard in. So when this happened, that guard was taken to the hospital. He was gone for a while. He was just coming back to work as I'm telling him I need to get moved out of this cell block. And as I'm telling him this and he's not believing me, I told him just like this. I said, guard, I'm scared something's gonna happen to me, just like what just happened to you. And wouldn't you know it, he took me pretty seriously then. And it was like a day later, I was moved out of the cell block. They kept me locked down in my cell. People were coming up to my cell. They were like, Joe, why are you leaving? I'm gonna get some money in like 2 months. Just wait. We can do some tattoos in 2 months. I'm hungry now. I don't make no commissary. I got nobody in the free world sending me no money. I gotta go. Hey, peace. It was good. Had a lot of fun in here with you guys doing these tattoos. A lot of tattoos I did in here on people I really cannot stand. But damn when you're hungry. When you're hungry and you're locked up, It's almost like that yellow bag of coffee I was talking about a few days earlier. But I kind of got off topic with all of this just a little bit. But again, those are the two different ways that you can go about dealing with a cellmate you don't like. You're either going to fight them or one of you has got to go. And when you got to go, there's only a few ways that you can. I've seen times where prisoners will pack up all of their stuff, take their mattress, their pillow, their sheets and everything and put them right beside the door and bang on that door, telling them guards, I gotta get out of here, they're gonna hurt me and I gotta go. Sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't. And believe me, during the times that doesn't work, when that prisoner has to pick that stuff back up and go back into that cell, when it's time to lock down, that guy's getting knocked down or knocked out. So a lot of times when sharing a cell with a guy that you don't like, it's pretty much you're damned if you do, and probably even more damned if you don't. And it's mentioning all of that that brings us to some stories that just have been in the news involving situations taking place between cellmates. And the crazy thing about it is there was just two big stories in the news dealing with some cellmates. Now this first story being the worst story because there's a video that shows this entire thing takes place in Ontario, Canada in a jail where in like 2013, this actually happened like 4 years ago. The video of this is just being released now because the guy who actually did what he did just went to court and received a life sentence for this. But it was at this jail back in 2013 where Anthony George beat his cellmate Adam Kargus to death. Now there is a lot of crazy stuff about this story. Again, there's a video that shows everything. You can actually see these guys locked down in the cell, and through the cell door window, you can see a lot of commotion going on in there. And it's during all of that commotion that this incident is taking place. Now the video of this shows these guys locked down, shows you what it shows through the cell door window, which you really can't see very well. But then the video skips to the next morning where these guys are being let out of their cells. And it's then that Anthony George is shown dragging a body tied up in a sheet to the shower area. The crazy thing that I think about with this first and foremost is you know there are cameras inside of these cell blocks. You know that. There's not a prisoner locked up anywhere in any cell block who doesn't know they're being watched. You can see the damn camera. You know they're gonna see you doing what you're doing. Hell, in some cases, they got cameras and microphones strategically placed throughout the jail, prison, cell blocks, housing units, wherever the guys don't even know are there. And if you know you're being recorded already, I mean, how do you honestly think they're not gonna see you dragging this guy out of the cell, putting him in the showers? I mean, how do you think you're actually gonna get away with this? How does that even make sense? Well, the story that accompanies this video that shows all of this goes on to say that this guy, Anthony George, he was drunk when he did this. The story goes on to say that George asserted, that's a good word, I was gonna say George said. George asserted that he had gotten drunk off of toilet bowl or jailhouse brew when he assaulted his cellmate. And he also said during his sentencing that he had smoked a laced cigarette before committing this violent act. So obviously this guy was definitely under the influence of all sorts of stuff when he says he blacked out and doesn't even remember doing any of this. And you know, there is a good possibility that he's telling the truth with this, because the story goes on to say that Anthony George and Adam Kargus, they were actually okay. They got along, they were friends. In fact, it said that Anthony George said that he was trying to help take care of this kid while they were locked up together to make sure he was gonna be all right. Because this guy, Anthony George, I mean, this guy was a monster in comparison to Adam Kargus. If you look at the picture right here, I mean, it shows Anthony right here standing in front of a damn punching bag. I'm pretty sure Anthony's trained to go. And who really knows what Adam was like? Could he even fight? I mean, who knows? But obviously, he was no match for this guy, Anthony George. Now, I'm not exactly sure what Anthony George was locked up for originally, but this guy, Adam Kargus, he was only locked up for identity theft. Said that this kid battled with addiction, he had a lot of problems with drugs, and it was an identity theft charge that he was serving time for. And I mean, to think that you're gonna lose your life in a jail, sitting there probably only serving a small, short amount of time at that. And to think that this guy lost his life while being in the jail for a minor charge, I mean, that's pretty damn crazy. Now again, this happened back in 2013. This video just came out because it was just earlier this week that Anthony George went to a sentencing after being found guilty and was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after a decade. Now, a decade may sound like a long time, but keep in mind, it's only 10 years. This guy's eligible to be released after only serving 10 years, when this entire thing is on a damn video, when they can show you through that damn cell door window, this guy violently attacking this guy, even though you really can't make it out so well, and then dragging him tied up in a sheet to the shower area the next damn morning. In fact, the story also says that this guy, Adam Kargas, was beaten so badly, they couldn't even identify this guy. They were only able to do so because of his tattoo. So to think that this George guy could be eligible for parole in 10 years, I mean, damn. Had that happened here in the United States, there's no way in hell Anthony George would ever be coming home. In fact, I can guarantee this guy would be getting at least a life sentence and absolutely zero chance of parole. I can guarantee that. And with that, I really want to know what you guys think of this story. Do you think that this guy really came off when he went through his sentencing? I mean, what do you feel this guy deserved for this? Do you feel it should be taken into consideration the fact that he was drunk on that homebrew prison brew Pruno and also smoking that laced cigarette? I mean, is that something that should have been taken into consideration as well? Maybe it was, but again, I really want to know what all of you think about this. And real quick, one other thing I want to throw in with this story. I wonder if anybody else is being charged in this. Because when Anthony George is seen dragging this guy to the showers, I mean, there's other prisoners standing right there watching this take place. The story even reports that there were other prisoners who were helping him clean up the blood. What about the guards in this situation? The guards didn't even discover this guy until like 2 hours after he had put him in the shower. I just can't honestly see, as this is taking place, that there is not like an unbelievable amount of commotion that no guards would have heard and went to check on while this was happening. I just really can't believe that. So do you think maybe the guards are a little responsible here too? I do. This next story about cellmates is kind of similar to the first one, but has some pretty crazy differences as well. Now, this story took place earlier this week in California, where an unnamed prisoner was being released. And on his release day, on the day that he was leaving, this guy decided he was going to take the life of his cellmate. And the way the guards found this slain cellmate is because as that guy was leaving, he left his cell door open. I guess it should have been closed. They went in, saw the other guy laying there. And as this guy is getting released, I'm not even sure that he made it out of the gate. They're putting the handcuffs right back on this guy, putting him in a police car and taking him right down to bookend because he's going to have him a fresh charge that carries a life sentence. And I mean, this story makes absolutely zero sense to me. I get the fact that you don't like your cellmate, but dude, you are going home. He's still going to be locked up. Why in the hell would you feel this was necessary? I mean, why would you want to do this? You just threw away the rest of your damn life because of whatever issue you had with the guy that you were sharing a cell with. And you know, I wondered to myself, did this guy think that he was going to get away with this? Did he think that nobody was going to find this dude until after he was released and he was long gone? Or did he just not even care that they were going to find him? Maybe he knew they were going to find him. Or maybe he didn't want to get released. Because you know, that is a very real thing. You got guys who will serve so much time, spend so much of their lives locked up, I mean pretty much the entirety of their lives locked up, that they no longer want to even be a part of society. Their world, their life, all they know is behind those bars and behind those razor wire fences inside those cells. I mean, you ever seen the movie Sling Blade or Shawshank Redemption? Both those movies are damn good examples of exactly what I'm talking about. And you know, there's one last thing that I want to mention in relation to this last story, and that is that when I hear something like this, I mean, it makes zero sense to me. Because it's usually always a fear of prisoners that this would happen the other way around. Meaning that when you're locked up, you really don't want a lot of guys knowing when you're going home. Because they could try to sabotage you or set you up and get you more time, or worst case scenario, have the exact opposite happen to you that just happened in this story that I just told you about. So again, I am completely baffled as to why this guy would do what he did on his release date at that. And the only conclusion that I can come to is either that this guy is just as dumb as they come, or that he just didn't want to get released at all. And you know, I'm really thinking it's more the latter. But you guys let me know what you think about this story. I mean, how crazy is that on the day this guy gets released, he does something as severe as what he does that is ultimately probably going to get him a life sentence? What are your thoughts on why the hell this guy did this? Hey, look, that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about all of this. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world, never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!